Were you classically trained?
I wasn't, no.
Of course he wasn't. I only grew up in a classical family, and I went to conservatory, and...
So this is talent.
Well, I think
and practice.
God, we're so quick to just jump to talent. So this is innate in you, right? Had I done all the same things you did, I wouldn't be in your position, right? That would be impossible. I haven't let my life slip me by, right? Please tell me I'm right, please.
When I was small, I was somewhat resistant to like liturgical practice. You know, I'm going to sit down and do this. My brain's never really behaved in that way particularly well. So
wait, when you were a kid, you didn't want to just sit down and practice boring stuff all day? What? That's crazy, man.
And the thing I always try to emphasize to people is how similar making music is to listening to it. It's the same exact thing, except the other way around.
That's true. I like to compare music to like eating versus pooping. Like you're consuming, it can be slop, it can be high-end cuisine, and then you absorb it all, and then you just poop everywhere, and then that's you making music. That's your music, by the way. It's you consuming wonderful food and then pooping. Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, we got a special spicy one here for you. Guess who it is? It's Jacob Collier. Whoa, or Jacob Collier, as you guys like me to refer to him as. Yeah, I learned how to say his name, but you know whose name I don't know how to say? Simon Sink, something like that. He's a big fella here on YouTube. 2.52 million subscribers. Extremely jealous, of course. And I'm just reading the description here. No research has been done. A bit of optimism podcast. I hate the sound of that. I think it's time for a little bit of pessimism, if you ask me. Which, maybe I'll include this since we're talking about optimism. I've been finding some of the worst music, like ever written. And I think the genre that I found to be actually, truly the worst is meditation music. I'm pretty sure we can call that a genre of music, and it is just absolutely awful. But it has this really distinct thing on YouTube where all the comments are super positive. I want to show you. So I was trying to find some nice, relaxing guitar music, acoustic, calming music for stress relief, studying, and I found this. Tons of views. Listen to this guitar music. This goes on for 3 hours. Let's just see what it ends up being. Oh, I think this is actually a real guitar too. It's not just a piano. A lot of these will just be a piano, the guitar MIDI effect. Let's read some of these comments. A man whom after 3 decades spent using drugs finally decided enough. Today marks day 10. Oof. Pretty early in that journey then. Whoa, the comments are kind of spitting facts here. There's something so relaxing about an acoustic guitar, no voice, just music and rhythm. So freaking true. Guitar, no voice, music and rhythm. We don't need voice. Don't know if someone is reading this. Someone is. But if you are, it doesn't matter where you are right now on this planet. I wish you a wonderful day and a happy, peaceful life where all your dreams come true. Shut up, I don't care. You're amazing and beautiful. I believe in you. I don't want to hear it, whoever that was. I don't know, it just reminded me of the positivity thing. Maybe I'll make a video on meditation music. I'd have to figure out what kind of video that's going to be. That's not what this is right now. This is a Jacob Collier video. He's on the Optimism podcast. Seems like a good place for Jacob. Seems like an optimistic guy. A lot of positivity in all of the things that he does, which is cool. We like to see that. But you know, we're gonna do our thing here, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Oh, maybe I should tell you, I am a classical guitarist, by the way, which means that I'm not optimistic about much. Even if I get insanely good, there's still no jobs for me. So what exactly do I have to be optimistic about, am I right? Even if I achieve excellence and perfection on my instrument, I'm still just playing other people's music. Am I really expressing myself? I don't know. If you actually play classical music, you know what I'm saying is silly. Alright, anywho, let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we?
B flat. It's like
What do you mean by arrival and departure?
So this is my hope.
What do you mean by arrival and departure? We're just going into a theory lesson. Oh, I can't believe you have to ask that. What an easy question to answer. Alright.
If I'm in F, this is my hope. Right? I can exist in the key of F for a while.
We're really traversing F with this one, huh?
Go somewhere else, like to Eto flat. When I get home, you still feel like
Yeah, you get it now? Did you catch all that? You write all that down. I think you officially know what going home means now.
arriving at F, right? And I'm home. And then you can kind of augment that arrival into something much more colorful.
I'm making fun of it. I don't know if there's actually a way to even explain that without getting into any kind of theory whatsoever. Because really what he's talking about is just a tonic and dominant relationship. You start with your tonic, in this case it's F, and then you play stuff that's not F, which could be the dominant of F. It could just be other stuff too that takes you away from F, and then when you go back to F, especially if you go back to it with F in the bass, and then things resolve everywhere else, be it by half step or whatever. You get this nice conclusive feeling. So yeah, I don't know. There's no real way to go into that without being convoluted. But it's always funny seeing Jacob's examples just go all over the place.
And then you can kind of augment that arrival.
You're confusing me with language like that. Augment the arrival?
Colourful.
Beautiful.
The joy of music is how to make the best, most satisfying kind of tension and then resolve it. You know?
Yeah, that's the joy of life, too. That's why I like to cause problems in my relationships.
Creativity
Nice.
is about breaking something.
Is it? Who told you that?
Nope, it's about building something.
Oh, I see. I spoke too soon. I paused it early. I'm sorry about that.
It's breaking. No, it's building. Or maybe, just maybe, it's both.
Whoa. Alright. I'm trying to fight off the positive energy this guy is shooting at me right now. Ugh. Ugh.
Exact same time. But how can you build and break something simultaneously, Simon? Well, enter Jacob Collier.
Oh wow, thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much.
Jacob is a Grammy-winning musician who has an uncanny ability
To style his hair.
to turn anything around him into musical instruments, including his audiences.
Including the souls of real people. Jacob Collier is a mythical monster. He's terrifying.
If you've seen any of the viral videos online, he literally turns his massive audiences into his own personal choirs.
He's kind of playing God a little bit, honestly. It's upsetting.
I invite
Dude, you gotta practice to go to a Jacob Collier concert. That's why I haven't been to one yet, because I haven't been practicing. I've been too busy reacting to stuff. Maybe I'll start practicing that stuff in the live streams.
Jacob to join me in a music studio in Los Angeles while he was in town for the Grammys, where his album Jessie Volume 4 was nominated for Album of the Year alongside Billie Eilish, Beyonce, and Taylor Swift.
Dude, thank God. Please everybody go vote for Jacob Collier over these people. That's what we need. We can talk all the trash we want on Jacob Collier, but if he's winning Grammys, I'm happy. I'm fine with that. To be fair, I haven't listened to his music much recently. So maybe if I listen to Jacob Collier right now, it'll be like indistinguishable from Taylor Swift. That'd be kind of interesting, huh?
Get comfy, because this is a front row seat to his wildly beautiful genius.
Okay, let's not go too crazy here. He is still just a human being. Oh man, his wild, beautiful genius. This better be good. He better blow my freaking mind with an intro like that.
Is a bit of optimism.
Alright, it's a bit of optimism. We don't have to focus too much on that. I don't know. Freaking smiley, happy guy. Yeah, you're all optimistic, huh? Okay.
So you're nominated for Album of the Year for your Grammy. Congratulations.
He's like, oh, am I? Oh, I didn't know. He always does that. He's like, I got a Grammy again? I didn't realize that. I'm so humble. Alright.
Alongside some musical legends. Trojans. Feeling?
What?
I heard the other day that I'm the first artist actually in history to be twice nominated for Album of the Year without ever having charted. So none of my albums have ever been on any charts. I'm personally deeply proud of this.
I was going to say,
Wow. How did that happen? I wonder who's pushing Jacob's music to be nominated, huh? Industry conspiracy. You guys keep calling him a Nepo baby. I still don't understand how he's a Nepo baby exactly. Like, you guys say that his mom was a violin professor or something, as if that makes you a Nepo baby in any way. Unless he got into that music school undeservedly or something. But no, he's a Nepo baby because he is really good at music, because his parents taught him music at a really young age. I don't think that makes much sense personally, but whatever.
It's kind of a cool stat. I mean, there's no such thing as Album of the Year. It's just made up. Someone made that up. I'm deeply
Dude, facts.
honored to be included in the number alongside such luminaries. I'm not taking it too serious.
I mean, you've already won.
I mean,
to be included amongst...
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
you know, none of us really know what we're doing. We're just playing around. I don't sit around thinking, you know, oh, I'm bloody brilliant and, you know, blah, 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 so much as just what an interesting time to be Jacob, you know, and what an interesting time to be making music, because I've made a very unconventional album that is deeply irreverent in many ways, and for it to be counted as, you know, one of those it's just kind of a thrill. So I'm just taking each day as it comes.
Love.
I imagine that would be a thrill to just make an album of just stuff that you just put together with no real hope of it ever doing anything, and then people just fall for it and love it. And it's like, what an interesting time to be me. These people listen to anything. They're nominating this? I didn't even try on this album.
How old were you when your sort of folk started to realize that there was something there that wasn't, let's call it, normal?
I had an interesting mind as a child. I think when I was small, my mind was interested in things in a certain kind of a way.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
2 little sisters.
Like, did you have family dinner every night?
Yes.
Did you have family dinner every night? Were we watching his therapy session right now?
By candlelight, still. To
By
this day.
candlelight?
Oh, yeah.
What? What do you mean by candlelight? Didn't have lights in your house, huh? Okay.
What was the motivation for that? It's just nice?
I don't think there was an agenda, it's just nice.
It's like, no, we were poor, dude. What do you mean it's just nice? We lived in squalor. We had candles, bro. We didn't have electricity in our house. Not everybody gets to be you with your fancy socks and shoes. Some of us struggle.
I mean, your parents paid the electricity bill, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's something of a motivation. And the thing that was interesting to me when I was growing up was how much I was encouraged to look within myself for answers or inspirations that might arise. So for example, say I come to the dinner table by candlelight one evening.
The whole candlelight thing is very strange. Do you find the table by candlelight too? Like everybody gets a candle when it gets dark? Gotta bump around the house until you find the dinner table?
I'm feeling kind of angry, but I don't quite know why. But I'm not feeling angry in a sort of scaled up way. I'm feeling angry in a small way, like a knotted way, like a way that tugs on itself. And also incidentally, like my tummy hurts. You know, so say I feel like this, I come to the table and I say, guys, I'm feeling like this. And the first thing I met with is, oh, so that's interesting. So like, how did this come about? Why did this come about? And how is it that we can untangle this together? Because we're all here together. And so never in my memory, did I come to the table with something, a feeling or an experience, something that was met by judgment, you could say. So like, well, why would this? Why would that? And I think that what I learned through music is just the sheer breadth and power of it as one of the more fundamental unravelers of my inner space, if that makes sense.
I mean, I guess this is a good question, which is when you think about art, so much emphasis is put that artists have to be tortured to create.
Yeah.
You know, more songs are about breaking up and loss and, you know, and stuff like this. And painters, they always talk about the torture. But in this case, it's the opposite.
Dude, none of that is true, actually. We can talk about my output of art, and my output's pretty low if you don't consider what I'm doing here art, which it is. This is an expression of myself, but I also get how you wouldn't count it as that. My output is always at its very lowest after a breakup or something like that, or when I'm just going through a hard time. The whole tortured artist thing, I never got that. Now, I can channel memories into music and stuff, like when I think back on those harder times, but in it, oh my god, the last thing I want to do is practice or play any kind of music or write anything.
Were you classically trained?
I wasn't, no.
Of course he wasn't. I only grew up in a classical family, and I went to conservatory, and...
So this is talent.
Well, I think
And practice.
It was...
God, we're so quick to just jump to talent. So this is innate in you, right? Had I done all the same things you did, I wouldn't be in your position, right? That would be impossible. I haven't let my life slip me by, right? Please tell me I'm right, please.
This is talent.
Well, I think
And
it was,
practice.
It was, in a sense, I mean, there's a distinction between practice and play. Practice being, you know, when you organize a state of play to solve a particular problem.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to learn to go really well and really fast.
Heck yeah, we're all there.
That's a particular thing I can practice. I can work on that.
Right.
But I think when I was small, I was somewhat resistant to like liturgical practice. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down and do this. My brain's never really behaved in that way particularly well. So
Wait, when you were a kid, you didn't want to just sit down and practice boring stuff all day? What? That's crazy, man.
I think my approach to learning and practice was to kind of follow the thing that felt interesting and felt like it lit me up.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I think when I was small was quite varied. I was brought up with so much different kinds of just music.
Did you paint? Did you draw? Or was music always the thing?
I think when I was small, it was language lit me up a lot.
What do you mean?
In the sense that the way my mind perceived a particular chord was similar in a sense to the way it perceived a particular like relationship between words. I remember being obsessed with just the idea of like, what are many contexts within which you can put a human finger?
Right.
Like, you know, you say linen on finger or doorbell on finger or
Right.
hummus or, you know, whatever. You imagine the collisions. And I think
Isn't that the name of your new album, Hummus on
hummus
Finger?
on finger, yeah. There's something that I learned through my love of words. Like it's like you have these miniature explosions that happen.
Dude, that's crazy. Wait, so you got obsessed with stuff like, what are all the things that can go on a finger? I don't know if I've ever had that relationship with words. More recently, I've talked about this in some of the lecture videos that I'm reacting to. I've been really obsessed with listening to how people talk and how it sounds musically. We can can even hear it here with how Jacob talks and how this guy talks. And it's kind of an important thing to think about, especially if you're a podcaster or somebody who talks a lot, how you actually convey your words and ideas. Yeah, this is totally separate. I'm just kind of rambling. I have my own show going on. I'm just watching this whenever I run out of stuff to say, I guess. You guys ever watch Kyrgyzstat, I think it is? It's that animated science channel. I'm sure most of you have heard of that. But I was watching one of their videos. I think it was posted a year ago or so. It was about AI, like kind of, I think maybe even before the AI explosion that's happened more recently. But I noticed in the video, every time he talked about AI, it would always be in a different inflection than everything else. So it'd be like, and then something like this, AI, and then something up, AI. And it almost reminded me of like a symphony, like a motif in a symphony or something, where it's like, this is the important thing, and then and this is the important thing, and instead of listening to this pop science talking video for the words, like the actual information in it, I was kind of listening to it like I would a symphony or just any kind of music, where I'm just listening to the rhythms and the inflection. And that's really what we mean in music by phrasing. And we find it strange musically when people play with awkward phrasing. And I think it's kind of the same where people find it strange in lectures or just when they hear people talk, when they use awkward phrasing that just sort of like stops and starts and all that stuff. So I don't know, it's just something I've been thinking about. Completely unrelated. Sorry, I just interrupted to say that because it's my show. You're here to chill with me. You're going to hear the stuff that I have to say.
When two things collide that maybe don't usually collide, and you can do this with vocabulary, and it's kind of one of the more relatable ways I found of explaining this. You know, you take these two things and you kind of, you know, it's like flint.
And you just jab it like that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You make a spark out of these two unlikely things, and the spark will illuminate something new. And you think, oh gosh, where could that take me? That's strange, interesting. And so musically, that started as, you know, I'll take these two notes and I'll go. But then it became, you know, genres, because I think genres are an interesting and slightly outdated principle. But you know, what happens if you try to put a banjo in a dubstep drop, you know?
That turns into the most popular track of 2015 right there. Are you kidding me? I don't know. Genres being an outdated term, I don't think so. I think it's pretty important to categorize stuff like that. I definitely get how that might seem like a cool thing to say, though. And everybody's like, yeah, totally.
It's almost like a level of disgust that to me is kind of like wired into intrigue creatively.
The disgust comes from when you're just listening to dubstep in general.
Love about you, the way you approach the world, and even taking music out of it. I think creativity and inspiration exists in all of us.
Yeah.
Maybe so, and that's why we go to music school, to beat it out of us. Play the notes on your page, child.
I think what we're talking about, or at least talking around, is the idea of being hyper-focused towards something,
yeah,
and finding beauty or inspiration or interest or curiosity, whatever it is, in something. And as you're talking, like, things are sparking in my head. I love the sound of a list.
The sound of a list.
If someone could pull up on their phone for me, it's the Shel Silverstein Bendable, Stretchable Man, and I'll show you what I mean. And there's a Shakespeare sonnet, you know, like Shakespeare did this a lot in his sonnets, where in the middle of his sonnet there would be a list of like, and this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I love reading a list. I don't know what it is. As you're talking,
maybe you should make a whole career on lists. That's the real unfortunate thing. I'm so glad that the thing that I found is guitar, because it didn't have to be guitar. Be glad that's what you found too, because I assume all of you are guitarists here. And if you're not, what are you doing with your life, right? You could have just as easily fallen in love with the tuba or the euphonium or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you fall in love with what you fall in love with. But, you know, guitar is cool.
Thinking about how you find the beauty in language.
Lists kind of fall into the tuba realm there, where it's like, that's great that you love something, just lists. The idea of a list. Yeah, man, that's great. That's great.
I don't know what it is about my brain that I enjoy the sound of a poetic list. You have it? I'll show you what I mean.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Okay, you're great.
Oh, great.
Once in a while, so bear with me. And where it gets brilliant is the end.
So you got to make it through the whole thing.
Twistable Turnable Man by Shel Silverstein, right? He's the twistable, turnable, squeezable, pullable, stretchable, foldable man. He can crawl in your pocket or fit in your locket, or screw himself into a 20-volt socket, or stretch himself up to the steeple or taller, or squeeze himself into a thimble or smaller. Yes, he can.
See, this is interesting too. This is how much language and speaking relates to music. We are listening to phrasing right now. We are listening to, like, not quite sight reading, but someone who has read this piece before, and they're giving it to us. And just like when I play music for you, and there's often just these mess ups where I just biff a note, and it's like such a tragedy when that happens to me. But it totally just happens to us in speaking all the time. And we can make it sound perfect if we do what I'm doing here with editing, and it sounds like he's editing a bit too. Not nearly as intricately as I am. He's letting long periods go, but I'm noticing cuts. But yeah, like editing will clean that up. But we're listening to him. He's biffed like 2 words so far, and it's just exactly the same as when I read the Prelude of 997, or I'm playing my fugue, and there's always just these biff notes. And that's why it's really crazy when we see these master guitarists or master speakers or whatever, and they just freaking flow through it, and they phrase everything perfectly, and there's no biffed stuff in there. And it just fills you with a sense of like, this isn't even a human being. They are someone beyond me. Like what am I even listening to right now? Like, this is how God would recite it. Like, we all speak, but I feel like we don't always think about phrasing as much with speech as we do with music, because phrasing in music is like the most important thing probably. But in speech, I feel like we all just kind of settle on a voice, and some of us just have bad voices and some of us have good voices, but you can improve your phrasing over time. So like, if you really wanted to take lists seriously, you should have a set of these poems that you really like, and you should slow practice through them, just like ba da 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 da, maybe even to a metronome. I don't know, because I feel like we also have a tempo with how we speak too. Don't accept stupid errors in whatever it is you love. Practice what you love.
He's the twistable, turnable, squeezable, pullable, stretchable, shrinkable man. And he lives a passable life with his squeezable, lovable, kissable, huggable, pullable, tuggable wife. And they have 2 twistable kids who bend up the way that they did, and they turn and they stretch just as much as they can for this bendable, foldable, do what you're totable, easily moldable, buy what you're sodable, washable, mendable, highly dependable, buyable, sellable, always available, bounceable, shakeable, always unbreakable, twistable, turnable man.
No.
Yeah, you killed that at the end. Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. I like that clap,
That's
Jacob.
very, very good.
I love the list.
Tumbles off the tongue.
I love the list.
Not to be confused with Franz lists. He means lists, like a grocery list. That's his passion, okay? Hey, just listening to Franz Liszt's music? I don't like that so much. Give me a list of his music, though, and let me read that. Boom. I'll take that any day.
Or just me getting to the list.
Yes, of course.
You know?
Course. Yeah.
And so as you're talking about this idea of hyper-focus, the reason I want to talk about it is because I want people to be able to see that they are more like you than they think they are.
That is a beautiful poem. And the thing about that list is it's like you have a series of miniature chemical reactions that go off in your brain. But the thing about it is that everybody who's ever perceived language, or you could say music as well, has experiences a version of this. And the thing I always try to emphasize to people is how similar making music is to listening to it. It's the same exact thing, except the other way around.
That's true. I like to compare music to like eating versus pooping. Like, you're consuming, it can be slop, it can be high-end cuisine, and then you absorb it all, and then you just poop everywhere, and then that's you making music. That's your music, by the way. It's you consuming wonderful food and then pooping. And you know what? Sometimes the poop doesn't smell quite as bad. Sometimes it smells awful. Sometimes the texture is weird. It's always poop, though. You know, never forget that. Hey, we got poop jokes here on Sore Hands. We don't do that very often.
But your job as a listener, in a sense, is to to find the right component that matches your energy, that will sort of pull it out in that gorgeous way
that you want to emphasize or get away from.
Yeah.
I either want to be sad, so I'm going to play myself sad music.
Yeah.
Or I want to get away from sadness, so I'm going to play happy music.
Well, usually the thing that's right for your space will meet you where you are and then modulate you slightly to somewhere else. And so I guess that the thing with making music is it's similar. You know, and it kind of comes back to the candlelit dinner scenario of how are you feeling today, and whatever you say is actually fine, but it's just like a
so you play how you feel, where the rest of us make a playlist for how we feel.
He's obsessed with lists. He can't get away from it. Writing a song is kind of like making a list of notes. I don't know. Maybe he has a future in songwriting.
I've learned to do. You know, I'm not great at reading the dots and the notes and all sorts of things like this, but I think that for me, I've tried to learn how to be as fluent as possible in music as a language in general.
Do you make time to play, or do you find yourself just playing?
Another just complete left field point that I'm thinking about right now. Jacob's talking about making music, and it's this thing that you kind of do as an expression. But just like when I sit down to make videos, because this happens, by the way, I'll sometimes, especially when it's a chair section or something, I've gone to make videos like this, and I just sit down and I say nothing, and then I just walk away and try again tomorrow. And no matter how skilled I am at doing this, or no matter how skilled I am at any musical instrument and improv and stuff like that, sometimes you just don't have anything to say. Sometimes you have nothing to express. And that's not an abnormal thing. And there are ways around that. Like, you can have canned stuff that you play, or canned stuff that you say, even. I feel like that's what a lot of just small talk filler conversation is. It's just canned Hey, how's the weather? Hey, how you doing? Good? Great. And then sometimes it takes a while to actually get to something meaningful. But don't beat yourself up if that meaningful thing doesn't come today or this week or whatever. What's important, and this is what I've done with this YouTube channel of talking, is that I film almost every day. And so if I do have something to say that day, I capture it. And that's another important thing too. I've been finding whenever I jam, because believe it or not, I do jam. I recently jammed with one of my friends in the middle of a guitar center. If you've been diligently watching, you've heard me talk about that. And I really regret only recording the tail end of it, because a lot of it felt really good. I highly encourage everyone, when you're jamming, even alone, especially when you're collaborating with other people, record absolutely everything. Even if it's a phone recording, it doesn't matter. Just capture the moment in some way, and you'll be really glad you did, like later, once you forget everything that's happened, so you can actually hear what you sound like. You can say something so profound, and it's so easy to forget what you said. Free up some storage on your phone. Get in the habit of recording stuff. Definitely recommend doing that. I do that. Anywho, what were you guys saying?
Because when you started out as a kid, it was something you did for fun. You weren't taking classes. You weren't. It wasn't like you had homework to do and you had to prepare for the piano team.
Okay, we'll roll with that for now.
But now it's a career.
Yeah.
Now there's expectations. Now you have to play at certain times and certain reasons.
Yeah.
You have to
Dude, that's so true, man. I'm gonna let him finish, sorry, but I'm probably gonna ramble more about
prepare for
this.
things. Has it become a job? Like, where does job and joy intersect?
Dude, yes, it becomes a job, absolutely. When there's the expectation, especially if it's your sole living, it absolutely changes. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Because, for example, you guys can do this, because I actually recently did this. I watched some of my old videos, which again, I know you can call this YouTube channel like art or not. This has been a labor of love for me, and now it is actually my job. When I watch some of those old videos, like I watched an extravaganza and just a couple of practice logs, there's so much wasted energy and just random stuff, because simply I just didn't know how to make a video. I didn't know to like just set the camera down and just have it at a desk, because right now the way I film, it's the most efficient use of my energy, so there's no waste. But I used to have tons of waste in my videos, like moving the camera, and I would like talk about random stuff and just do random stuff, and I would take way longer than I needed to editing. And it would be really hard for me to go back to that old style of video that I used to make, just because I've already made those videos and I learned how to be more efficient. And what that has turned into is just what you're seeing now, which is sad, because those old videos, when I was watching them, I found them very charming, because there was so much just love and sharing in them. So yeah, like when it comes to stuff like this YouTube channel, or even maybe a band that you have, or just whatever it is that you're doing and working towards and working to make your career, once you achieve it, you can never go back to before that, you know, and you can never go back to that stuff that you were making with absolutely no thoughts of money. Because I had like no money thoughts on my mind then. It was just me sharing my practice and practice logs. Now, whenever I go into any video, there's always the thought of like, is this going to be a popular video? And is this going to generate more views and therefore lead to me having a more successful day? Which, you know, is like not the most creative thing to have in your head all the time. And that's not to say that the passion for this YouTube channel is gone or anything. It's just different. Like, it evolves. But I find that as you evolve, it's hard to go back to how things used to be. So you just kind of push forward. So I would say if you have a YouTube channel or like a band or anything like that, really savor those moments before anything happens, and really like go as far out there as you want, because there might come a time where you start compromising for money. Not that that's a bad thing again, but it is different, and there is something nice to just not having that thought at all. I'll be interested to hear what Jacob says about that.
Because you don't want to be singing the same songs 40 years from now.
No. Well, so the funny thing about my performances, the things I prepare for, are that they're not designed to be the same each time.
Yeah.
So the preparation is as much of an internal emotional space one as it is a fingers one. You know, language together and sort of understanding, okay, so here's how you release tension. Here's how you ask a question and give an answer. Here's how you twist or turn or whatever you have with the things. And so I think that now when I sit on the stage, I'm not thinking so much about the grammar of it, the syntax of how do I put this thing into words as well. I'm more thinking, what B flat? It's like,
oh no! Oh, I messed up. I'm so sorry, everybody. How long has it been? Because I have not been listening at all. You know what? This is going to be a really weird episode. Yeah, it's been 51 minutes. I'm not making any more of this. This is a little bit strange, but I'm on vacation right now before I'm moving, so I'm filming this video like really early, and I'm just kind of filming just to have a bunch of backlog. So of course I picked a Jacob Collier video to go into. Kind of turning this into a little bit of a chair log at the same time too. Maybe I'm just bored of Jacob Collier videos. But yeah, I mean, everything I mentioned, it's just been stuff that I've been thinking about, which like some of it's a little grim, some of it's a little weird, It doesn't feel that way in my head. Like, it's just kind of interesting, I guess. But I mean, ultimately, just don't take anything for granted. Like, even if you want more with what you're doing, if you put enough time into anything, it will become more. But just try to enjoy the process. And that's what I'm doing here with my YouTube channel. That's what I do with my guitar playing too. There's no part of me that wants the end goal of my playing or the end goal of this YouTube channel right now. Because really, what makes what I do here so beautiful for me is that it fills my day with stuff to do. It gives me a purpose. And you know, I have goals, of course, and the quicker I achieve them, then I need to find new goals or risk just doing nothing all day, which is the most miserable existence I could ever imagine. It's cliche, I know, but the process is the point of doing anything. Without a sustainable routine, at least for me, I would be very unhappy. I imagine a lot of people feel the same way. So, to summarize this video, listen to how you sound, overanalyze your own speaking voice, because that's important for some reason. Enjoy the process of anything you do, and that's pretty much it. This is kind of a weird Jacob Collier video. It was more of a, let's watch Jacob Collier, and then I'll just kind of talk loosely about whatever I want to talk about, and then we'll just go back to talking when I run out of stuff to say. And yeah, I think that's all this needs to be. Well, like I said, I'm on vacation, and then after that vacation, pretty much maybe 5 days after that, I'm moving. So it's just going to be a freaking nightmare of a process. Alright, well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. So, of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. I do offer guitar lessons, so you can reach out if you want to introduce yourself to me. I'm not taking new students right now, and I'll be starting grad school real soon, like in the next couple weeks. So I'm probably going to be busy. But, you know, if you want to be on the waiting list, just let me know. State your case. All that stuff. Of course, head on down over to Roots Delight for some honest merch. There's a Patreon and a member section. I live stream. Probably won't be live streaming too much while I'm on vacation, of course, and I've been kind of slacking on it anyways. I will be practicing though, so you know, be sure to practice your guitar and enjoy that process. And yeah, all right, well, I'll see you in the next one.